So here it is, video 3 of 3. If you have seen parts 1 and 2, they're actually linked below. So I highly encourage you to watch those first, because understanding the sort of the what brought us here and what the problems are and the challenges helps understand why the solutions that I am proposing here in this video make sense, at least to me. You may agree, you may disagree, but one thing I do want to point out here right now is to let you know this is not a financial advice by any means whatsoever. It's just my thoughts and ideas of what it is that I am doing in my life. And I'm just kind of sharing as to why I do believe what I do believe and why I am so bullish on particular things. If you are needing financial advice, I highly encourage you to find a competent, licensed, legally licensed financial advisor that can help you resolve some of those things. But above all, I encourage you to learn things on your own and make your own decisions and calls. Please do not take what I share here in this video as sort of the gospel thing, because, things may not pan out. I deal with probabilities, not with certainties, especially when I'm looking so far into the future, trying to understand and guess what would or would not perform well. I can very much be wrong, grossly wrong, and I don't want you to take me up on what it is that I'm sharing and my own thoughts and assume that that is exactly how things are going to play out, because you know what? Future is uncertain. None of us know what it is. So there you go. That's my disclaimer, and enjoy the show. So now the question comes in of, well, thanks for brightening up my day. Like, what good news do you have, and why are you coming in if you don't have anything good to say? Unfortunately, I have been a bearer of bad news for so many people over the last couple of months that is really painful to be able to deliver it, but I'd rather people know it than don't. At least that's kind of how I like to operate. I'd rather know than not. So at least if I know I have an ability, an opportunity to maybe do something to protect myself, to protect my family, have some action steps that I can take. So yes, I do think that there are certain things that we all have an ability to do. And I'm going to go through a few of those here with you right now. Now, first thing that I think you can do, and I think you should do, is by, over the time that now we still have food supplies kind of coming in, we can get some seedlings, we can get some of the fruits and veggies. Is still, relatively speaking, early spring, unless you're in freaking Arizona where it's still 100 degrees already. But everywhere else, you have ability to still be able to plant your own food. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you start doing some of those things. And even if you're not 100% successful with everything, if you can at least get some of the stuff, I think that is going to serve you a great deal. There's a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of people that talk about urban farming and kind of how to do it, how to get started. Yes, you might need to spend a little bit of money, but it might be worthwhile. I just went out to get some of the boxes for my vertical garden that I've done the video on. If you haven't seen it, make sure you watch it. And I spent, I don't know, maybe $100, something like that. But I spent $100 on a grocery run for a week. This, I'm able to spend hundreds, even if you spend $200 to actually start producing food that is going to feed you for months to come. I think the return on investment is really, really good. Even if you can't, eat all of the food that you produce, you always have an ability to trade with other people around you, your neighbors, associates, give it to people, be able to help out, because I do believe that having a community that can help take care of one another, they can take care of themselves, is going to be crucially important. Sticking together is going to be the key. And so I want to make sure that you and I and everybody else around us is a force for good, because what I see happening is a lot of bad stuff. And so we do have a choice as human beings to actually start doing some good. And I want to make sure that all of us are participating in that. So that's a easy and simple thing to do, that you can go out, get some soil, get some seedlings, get some seeds, get some planters. And like I said, there's a lot of things out there that are available on YouTube and internet that for free, absolutely free, you can go and learn how to do some of those things and how to plant it and where to put it. And if you can do some of that stuff, that would be quite amazing, because I do believe the whole concept of stay money blessed is to generate funds that will fulfill your life and supplement you over the lifetime, but it's also creating sovereign individuals. Part of being a sovereign individual is to be able to take care of your foodstuffs. All right, so that's number one. Super easy to do, not always successful, but hey, give it a shot. Who knows, you might learn something in a process and find another way to spend time other than just watching endless movies and videos and shows. So that's one. The second one that I think is something that everybody can and should do is continue to educate yourself. Get some books. I know most of the libraries are closed, but a lot of them have virtual stuff, so you can get electronic books, which is not my preferred favorite, right? It's hard for me, but you know what? It will do. It will suffice. There's some audio books that they also have, and it's all free. It's absolutely free. So of course, if you want, you can buy things through bookstores online or through sellers themselves directly, right? You can go out and get on Audible as well. If you want to pay for services, that's fine. But if you want free, go to your local library, register, and again, most of it you can do online. You can also get some of my free books. You can do that by checking out the links below. So just go in, simply sign up. I will send you the book. We'll send you all these different books that will allow you to help benefit from it. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually going to do something I've never done before, and I'm going to give you even my audio book, which is Money EMT. And that's a book that I've written, I don't know, like 9 months ago, something like that. So where I talk about different strategies. So bunch of books, super happy to share that with you and do it absolutely free. You can obviously buy all of them on Amazon if you want to, but if you don't want to pay, let me know and I will gift you those books absolutely free, because I believe that next important thing for all of us to do is to remain educated, right? So start creating our own thoughts and beliefs of why something is good or is not good. And you can do that really well by generating your own thoughts and opinions, but you can only generate those when you start learning something about financial history, economics, money, what performs well, what not. There's a lot of free channels that exist all over the place. Watch them, listen to them, start listening to opposing views and opinions to see what you can find and how you can formulate your own opinion and why. So that's a super easy one to do. If you're interested to take your education to the next level and you're wanting to prepare for what I like to call a sale of a lifetime, I do have some investing courses that I have created that have helped many different people out and potentially could be a great benefit to you. The links to those are also beneath this video, so feel free to check them out. And if they speak to you, sign up. They typically come back with money back guarantees. So if you sign up and you discover the way that I'm teaching, the way that I'm showing stuff is not something that you're enjoying, it's not serving you, it's not doing anything for you, you simply let me know, you cancel, and you get your money back. Simple, simple, simple. All right, it started raining, so I had to stop the video, put on the umbrella, and we can continue on enjoying the beautiful walk. As long as it's not super windy and the storm doesn't show up, this should be just fine. I should be able to continue with my walk and enjoy myself. So we've covered two things. One is to grow your own food, to become a sovereign individual. Two is to educate yourself to continue on your sovereignty of what makes sense to invest and why, and to be able to really learn how to do those things. Three comes down to investing itself. Taking action to invest your money is going to be incredibly important, and doing it in such a way where you are actually preserving your wealth and potentially setting it up to grow. So a lot of times when people are going to invest, they actually invest in assets that have already performed and are already at the peak, because by the time you hear about it in the news, it already means that there's a lot of people that have already made money and they're ready to sell, while vast majority of people are jumping in to buy. You don't want to do that, right? So when you do that, it's sort of skating to where the puck is, as they have said. But what you want to do is skate to where the puck is going. That means that occasionally, or rather often, you will have to go in and invest in areas, in products and services and asset classes that maybe are not performing stellar quite yet, but are poised to perform really, really well. Now, before I move on, I want to make sure that I mention that there's no guarantee in investment, right? When you look to forecast the future, when you look to forecast anything, you can only deal with probabilities, but you can't deal with certainties. Certainty means it's happening right now, but if it's happening right now, it means it's way too late, especially when it comes to investing. So that means that you have to draw your own conclusions, become very comfortable being uncomfortable, be willing that you will potentially lose some funds, but that's where the education comes in, so that you can actually limit the losses as much as possible, limit the risk. As I always say, the number one risk is us as investors, then it's the assets, okay? So once you know yourself, once you know about certain things, the risk actually starts going down because you start accounting for it and you end up being a whole lot smarter. So things that I think are really well poised to grow and perform incredibly well. I'm sure you're not going to be shocked because I've already said it before, but in case you haven't seen any previous videos, let's cover it here. So one of the things is going to be gold. The reason for that is that it's been performing really nicely. The history shows that whenever there is uncertainty, gold tends to do really, really well. And I do believe that it has a potential to climb really nicely, probably 3, maybe 5x potential of where we are right now. That's a really, really, really nice return. That's number one. Number two is going to be Bitcoin, because vast majority of the governments, businesses, and so on are all focusing on creating digital currencies, because everybody's pegged to the dollar, but the dollar is starting to become so expensive that they're starting to drop it off because they simply can't finance it due to deflation. So they will start dropping it, and eventually dollar will actually go to zero. It will disappear most likely. And I do expect that the dollar, while it's going up in a value, and it will go up in a value in a while, it will kind of go away. Everybody will decouple from it, because when they borrow money to finance stuff, the countries, they borrow dollars. As the dollar goes up in value, it becomes too expensive to pay it back. So has potential of some of the defaults pulling out of the current financial system, which I do expect that is going to completely implode and a new thing is going to be created. And I do believe that that new world is digital, and Bitcoin does all kinds of amazing things, anywhere from a store of value to an asset class to the new way of accounting to the fact that it's built as a deflationary currency as opposed to inflationary currencies that we all have, where you can print more. Bitcoin has a set amount, and as the halvings happen, which is every 4 years, and we have one coming up in a few weeks, the price of it is going to keep on rising up. And I've been doing some of my own analysis of what I think could happen. I think short term we could easily see this asset going in price to between $40,000 and $90,000 per Bitcoin. Although, it's not guaranteed. I'm just doing some analysis and educated guessing. Let's put it that way. But I do see potential of that going to $1 million or more per Bitcoin over the next, 3 to 5 years again. So I could be wrong. It might not necessarily go all the way over there, but it does have a huge potential, because as you have more people switch over from the paper currencies, from the dollar, I can see how people will start jumping into something that can preserve wealth. And as Bitcoin does really well and more people kind of jump on it and more product services are being created within the market, I really do see this market absolutely exploding in a good way, and where it's going to go up in value. And I could also see many countries, many businesses, many go into the digital and potentially use Bitcoin as a solution. So that's kind of how I see those things. Now, final piece is real estate. I do believe that real estate will do incredibly well, not all of it. I do see commercials just tanking, because if you have all of the businesses that are no longer needed or wanted or are in business and they're no longer paying, nobody needs offices, everything starts shutting down, the value and the price of those is going to go down. Will it ever come back? Potentially. Likely is something different, but we're looking at years of having something that is not an asset but a liability. But where I do see potential is going to be within residential. And so, especially when we're talking about value investing, so that's the good place where you can start generating not just potential appreciation, which I don't expect a whole lot of it over the next 10, maybe 20 years. I know that's a long time, but I really don't expect it. But if you can get on the income side of the whole thing, right, where you can actually make money every single month, that is, between, I don't know, $200 to $20,000 a month or more, whatever, depending on what you have and how many, then that's a good proposition, because then I can take whatever, the dollars, or if dollars even exist at that time, and turn them into some of the other asset classes and really play on that wealth cycle that you might have heard about. So those are some of my things that I do believe are going to perform incredibly well. Final piece of the puzzle is to, consider getting into a business on your own. Building businesses is not all that easy, which is why I like real estate, because it's sort of like an investing and a business all on its own. And there's a lot of really amazing things with it. There are businesses that I think are going to do incredibly well over the course of the upcoming years. And so some of those I've actually put in the report that you can find underneath this video. It's absolutely free. Just click on the link below the video and I will make sure that you receive that report that is going to help you understand of what businesses are poised to do really, really, really well over the upcoming months and years. And some of them are going to be easier to get into than others, depending on your capital, resources, resourcefulness, your abilities and skills. For example, if you're a programmer, some of the tech businesses are going to be easy. But if you're more of a handy person and don't know about programming, that's going to be much more challenging, and vice versa. So thanks for watching. Make sure you share this with your friends, family, colleagues, associates. Give me thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to be alerted when the videos come up. And until next time, stay forever money blessed. And remember, you are only one deal away.